and committed individuals who took up an initiative to start a school which will be very different from other schools, which will provide a better quality education catering to the holistic development of children. For this, many experimental projects were held like career counseling, exam coaching, job skills training, activity-based lessons, summer science clubs, mentoring, etc. Out of which, Focus High School is the product of these experiences. Now, as I was saying, begin with little efforts that add on to make a big difference. So, we begin our today's program with a prayer song by the students of classes 6, 7 and 8.
Dam
Thank you, students. Thank you very much. Now, Now we have the presentation of the mementos for our distinguished guests. I call upon Sayyid Ali Madan to present the memento to Mr. Ali Asghar, who is our advisory committee member and also a social development consultant. Thank you very much, sir. I call upon Fahad Zakaria to present the memento to Mr. Iftihar Hussain, who is also our advisory committee member and he is a social entrepreneur, owner of Many Channel, secretary of Family Arm Trust. Now I call upon Afar to present the memento to Mr. Sultana Nazir Al-Hassan, who is also our advisory committee member and director of Green World Council. I call upon Amina Mohammed to present the memento to Mr. Sayyid Muhammad Arif, who is our advisory committee member and also a junior charter and publicity award for national badminton coach. I call upon Zainab Mujahid to present the memento to Ms. Jyoti Rao, who is Thank you very much, students. Now I call upon our principal, Mr. Abdul Haj Sarvarastu, to please give the welcome address.
Okay, good afternoon to all of you to this our inaugural event. On 15th of May, the first day when the faculty members joined the school, one of the early activities that we took part in was to think about the logo of Focus High School. And I asked the teachers at that time to brainstorm what could be the meaning of this symbol which we've chosen as the logo for the school. And at that time, they came up with many good and appropriate ideas. Some of them said that the logo looks something like a flame, symbolizing knowledge. Others had said that it reminds them of an eyeball and vision, which the eye symbolizes. And still others, just yesterday somebody was telling me that it makes them think of the aperture of a camera, and especially the word focus implies something to do with photography or, again, cameras. Today I'd like to propose a slightly different meaning, which I think is much more and a very important meaning for the name and for the logo of the school. I would associate it with a point, and I'd like you to trace a symbol with me. If you can raise your right hand and start at the top, and take your right hand and turn it to the right slightly. You all have to trace it with me so you also understand. So you're starting from the top and tracing the symbol, children especially. Right hand up. And you're tracing it to the right and then to your left. And finally straight down. And then you're adding a point. So what is the symbol? Okay, a question mark. And especially the point at the bottom of the question mark is most important. One of the most important and great philosophers of ancient history, Socrates, he had a very short phrase which I think summarizes this idea of how important questions are. And he said that wisdom begins with wonder. Wisdom begins with wonder. And if you think about it, it is the whole of knowledge. It is the whole of the purpose of education, that we're aiming towards wisdom, and the way there is through some kind of wonder and questioning. So whenever you think about it, or whenever you see the logo of Focus High School, I think it's best and it's good and helpful to associate it with the point of the question mark, because the whole school is built around the philosophy of asking good questions and inquiring and wondering about the whole of the universe. In fact, as Mrs. Tasneem was explaining the background of the school is really a product of many questions. Just down the road in Daira Mir Momin, there is the grave of Mir Momin Astarabadi. And this man is responsible for the layout of the entire city of Hyderabad. He had a vision, he had foresight, he planned a garden city just outside of Golconda, and it's the city which has grown and blossomed several hundred years after him. So one of the questions which led to the school being formed was, why is the region, the area where he is buried, the founder of the city, this far, visionary man, very learned architect and planner and philosopher, why the area around his grave and his the city that he's founded, it's not known for education. In all these parts of the city of Hyderabad, Dar Shifa, Qurani, this region is not particularly known as a hub of educational activity. Instead, we hear much more about places like Nallakunda or Dilsukh Nagar or Madhapur and Gachibowli. These are the places which are up and coming in terms of education. So one of the questions which was always in the back of our minds as we were thinking about education was, why can't this area, which is associated with this great man, Mir Momin Astarabadi, why can it not also have many centers of education and centers of learning? Why can't the children of this area be especially known as very skilled thinkers, and the children of this area be known as very fluent in many languages, not only English, but also Telugu and Urdu? And why can't the children of this area, which is linked to people like Mir Momin Astarabadi, why can they not also compete at the same levels as other children in the city of Hyderabad or in Andhra Pradesh or India or even the world? Why should this region be any more, any less than any other part of the city of Hyderabad? And another question which was plaguing us was, how can we build on the work of other schools and education institutions in the area, especially Princess and Girls High School and so many others that have already set so much groundwork in this part of the city, in the whole city in general? How can we take that work forward and see that it is not simply one or two institutions, but maybe 10 or 20 institutions like that? And finally, the main question which we asked ourselves was, could we build that school? Could we be the ones that are involved in starting such an institution in this part of the old city where Mir Momin Astarabadi is buried, the founder of this city that we live in? So our school is actually guided by and inspired by the idea of questions. And I'd like to go back to one other very famous story in history, which is also based on questions and how powerful questions can be. This story comes from Mahabharata, and Mahabharata has so many different incidents. Some of them are immortalized in the Bhagavad Gita, important conversations and dialogues. But this one story happens at the edge of a pond. And you all know that there were the 5 Pandava brothers, and that they've been exiled in the forest for almost 12 years. And sometime near the end of their exile, when the 12-year period is ending, the 5 Pandava brothers are still lost in the forest, and at this time they're feeling very thirsty. And trying to extinguish their thirst, trying to find some water or something to drink, the 5 Pandava brothers come across a pond, a magical pond. And one of the eldest brother, Yudhishthira, he sends one of the 5 brothers to go and please bring some water back so that we can quench our thirst. So Nakul, one of the 5 Pandava brothers, goes to the pond. And as he comes to the pond yells out to him, "Stop! First you must answer my questions, and only then will I let you drink from my water." And Nakul is so thirsty that he can't hold back, and he just drinks the water. And immediately he's dead. After him, Yudhishthira is getting impatient, and he sends Sadev, "Go and get some water, see what happens to Nakul, he's not come back yet." So Sadev goes to the pond. Again the pond warns him, "Stop. First you answer my questions, and only then you can enjoy my water." But Sadev is also thirsty, impatient. He sees Nakul, but he thinks that maybe something else has happened, and he goes ahead and drinks the water. Next, Arjun's turn comes, and Yudhishthira is again worried, "What's happened to my other brothers? Let me send the 3rd one to see what can be done or whether we can get some water." And so Yudhishthira sends Arjun to the pond. Arjun is a famous marksman and so known for his fighting abilities. So he's even more confident, and when the water stops him, he thinks that I can fight any such force. I don't have to worry about the pond hurting me. So he drinks the water, and he dies. So after the 3rd, then the strongest being is sent by Yudhishthira. "You go and see what's going on, get some water. I'm still thirsty, and no one has brought me any water." Yudhishthira feels. So finally, when Bhim goes, he sees 4 dead brothers, and still out of impatience or thirst, he drinks the water and dies. And finally, Yudhishthira says, "None of my 4 brothers has been able to come back with the water." And so he himself goes close to the pond. And now, the pond starts to address Yudhishthira, again with the same challenge. "Stop. First you must answer my questions, and only then can you drink from my water." And listen to the questions that he was asking him. Yudhishthira was asked by the pond, "What makes the sun shine every day?" And Yudhishthira told him, "The power of Brahman makes the sun shine every day." And then the water called out to him and said, "What is higher than the sky?" And Yudhishthira answered, "The Father is higher than the sky." Then the pond asked him, "What is faster than the wind?" And Yudhishthira said, "The mind is faster than the wind." The pond asked, "Who accompanies a man? Who goes with a man to death?" And Yudhishthira answered, "Dharma. That alone goes with the soul on the solitary journey after death, the actions and the deeds of the man." And finally the pond asked him, "What is happiness?" And Yudhishthira answered, "Happiness is a product of good conduct." And the last question which was asked of Yudhishthira was, what is the greatest wonder of the world? And Yudhishthira answered him, "Every day men see creatures dying and going to Yam's abode, and still they seek to live forever. And verily this is the greatest wonder of the world." And after answering all of the questions, the pond was so pleased with Yudhishthira's thoughtful and philosophical answers that he said that, "Yudhishthira, you can choose which of your 4 brothers you want to bring back to life. Which of them would you like me to raise back from the dead?" And now the thinking part begins for Yudhishthira. He has to choose one of his 4 brothers. And he chooses Nakul. And the pond asks him, why did you choose Nakul out of all the four brothers? You have so many, Bhim is so famous, Arjun is even more brave. And that's when Yudhishthira answers him that I chose Nakul because I am the son of Kunti. And Nakul is the son of my stepmother, Madri. So if I raised one of my own true brothers, my full brothers, then Madri's offspring would not have a child. They would not be a living son from Madri's family line. And so to be fair, I want Nakul to be raised. And out of happiness, the Khan says, you have chosen so justly, you have been so fair to your mother and your stepmother that I raise all four of your children. In this story from the Mahabharata, naturally it's even called the 100 questions or the enchanted pond in English. This episode is all about questioning and how one should handle questions. We can see here that questions lead to searching, they lead to thinking. Yudhishthira was the man who had this quality, who could think about issues deeply. Questions also lead to dialogue. They make people discuss things, they make people interact with each other. And if you think about it, the opposite, or the counterpart of questions, which is answers and facts, in a way, answers and facts, they lead to silence. I mean, it's the end of a conversation. There is no back and forth once the fact is established and once we know the answer. They make you complacent. It's the end of growth, whereas questions are the beginning of growth when you have to keep on searching and finding out and experimenting and thinking. So we hope that in our school we can also learn from this kind of approach to life. Yudhishthira's patience. The other four brothers lacked the patience to sit and wait. They let their thirst get the better of them, and because of their thirst they gave in to drinking the water before their time. They did not have the patience and the thought to answer the questions posed by the pawns. So philosophically and ideally, we want our school to be one which is helping children to ask questions, helping the staff and the faculty also to be searchers, people who are seeking knowledge and seeking growth and development. Unfortunately, not unfortunately, but we've already had a school operating for about 1 or 2 weeks now. We've just finished the second week. And although I have, and we all have philosophical goals for the school, we're always faced with the reality of the classroom. And so there's a lot of growth that the children have to go through before they will be asking such questions, before they will have such patience to seek the answers to these questions. I remember the first few classes, I teach social studies also for 6th, 7th and 8th. So in the first few classes, the children's main questions were things like, sir, should we write with a pen or a pencil? Or, sir, should I write on the homework notebook or the classwork notebook? Or, sir, will you please tell Emma to stop pitching me during the class? So their questions are definitely of a different kind. We want them to grow towards deeper questions, deeper searching, and deeper answers. So finally, I'd like to conclude by going back to our logo and reminding the children, when they ask such questions, that they have to think about the point. So can you raise your hand and let's come back to the point once again. Right hand on the top. And this time, take your fingers straight down, without any curve. And children, I want you to focus. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Manhaj. Now I request Mr. Yasir Rafri, who is the board member of our school and also the senior vice president of Milan Laboratories Limited, to please come and share his motivation and inspirational thoughts with us.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. No one from behind. Good evening. Board already? Okay, the program's just getting started. Okay, so welcome everybody, and hopefully we won't keep talking and getting you bored, but I mean, we know pretty much, most of the people here, but thank you for coming and giving us your valuable time. I mean, it's the weekend, and it's nice to have all of you here. I think many of us are probably very nostalgic today, right? Because a lot of us have been waiting for this day. Okay, I mean, we've been in this in a lot of discussions in terms of how we are going to build the school, what we're going to do, what we're going to put in, and so on and so forth. But let me take you back to why. Okay, so the reason we wanted to start the school, and Minhaj brought this up in terms of why we could not do it, but essentially we were seeing the world just outpacing, this area, okay, and this area of the city not moving at all. It was very stagnant. There were a few oases, okay, like Princess Essen High School, but again it was limited for girls, right, and it was leaving half the population, behind. Okay, so a lot of thought has gone into why we need to do this, and there was a lot of aspiration as well. Okay, in terms of many people aspire to build something different, and the reason we wanted to do something different was to create a transformation. Okay, and the important word here is transformation. Because, like I said, we were in a situation where, we were seeing the world just outpacing this part of the city, and we had to do something about it. Okay, so after many years, I mean, today is a very special day, right? Because we've actually come to this reality today, where we have a school today, right? And it's going to be different. It's going to be different. It's going to transform. Hopefully, beginning with the children here, and then, their thoughts, the way they think, the way, they're going to take this thinking forward and spread it around. Okay, so Minhaj covered a lot of this in terms of how we plan to do this, in terms of ideas, in terms of putting questions in the minds of children and making them learn through curiosity. Okay, so frankly, I'm a little bit emotional right now, so I won't continue for too long, but there's a lot of people behind this. Okay, I would first like to thank some of our seniors, okay, Arif Saab, Iftikhar Saab, Mr. Nazir Hassan, right, for providing that encouragement, okay, to take it forward, to actually plant this this very important institution. I mean, and then, there are members, very like-minded people like Naki, Tehseen, Mustafa, who've been actually working on the ground with a lot of young people and transforming their lives into something very different. So although Focus has started today and, or 2 weeks ago, okay, and okay, we've been dreaming about this and have been working, people like Naki and Mustafa, right, and Tehseen, and others, Mujahid, okay, have been working very hard for the last so many years, in moving the standard of, education, the thinking of people. So, I mean, having said that, all this effort has culminated today in Focus, and it's a good starting point because we really start at the beginning. And when we start with these young minds, right, that are totally uncorrupted, okay, we get a chance to do something really good from the beginning, and create something, create a model. Okay, so that's what we really after, and hopefully, God willing, this will spread, this will move. So, just one last thing, I mean, like I said, there's been a lot of thinking and a lot of doing. But a lot of doing starts now with the team that is in place today. So Minhaj and his team, I mean, are newer members of this family, right, that has been doing a lot of thinking, and doing, right, in the past. But you've got a platform today. I mean, this team, your team in Hunch, okay, has got a platform that the others did not have before. And I would really encourage, okay, all of you to think about this project not just as any ordinary school. Okay, this school has been founded, with a lot of passion, with a lot of aspiration, in order to bring about transformation. Okay, so with your thinking and with your effort, okay, you need to join us, right, in terms of sharing that vision to bring about transformation in this part of the city. And the good thing about this, okay, is like I said earlier, that the world has been moving so fast. But interestingly, the whole educational cycle is actually coming back, where education actually helps people to go forward, right? But I'll give you one simple example. The IIT results just came out, a couple of days back, and the topper of IIT, okay, the one who's topped IIT, he has been studying for IIT since the 8th standard. The 8th standard, just to get into IIT. Now, do we want our children to go through that kind of process, okay, and roll and learn and roll and learn, and then go and dump the whole thing in a 3-hour paper 5 years later? I mean, is that the objective of education? Has that become, the reason for education? I mean, many of us think not. We don't think that that's what education is supposed to do. Okay, but unfortunately, such is the competitive spirit, right, or the competitive instinct in people today, that is what we are making out of their children. So we want to take a departure even from there, okay, while, we don't want to, copy or emulate the people, right, who've been doing this. I mean, the idea is to create a good model for education, make thinking people, make thinking citizens, right, that will transform the way we think and take things forward. So, thank you once again for being here. I'm sorry if I left out any names in terms of credits or anything, but it's a very special day for all of us. So, it's just wonderful being here. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. As it is a saying, the difference between the impossible and the possible lies in a person's determination. So if you are determined, anything can happen. So this Focus High School is a product of the determination of so many people in it. Now I request Mr. Ahmad Ali Khan, who is the board member of our school and also the managing director of Focus Software Company, to please come on to the dais and share his thoughts with us.
Assalamu alaikum. Very good evening to you all. So it is a great pleasure and to be seeing so many happy faces in front of me, especially the young children. What I observed and noticed when coming here on my way here is how much of traffic all our children from this part of the city had to go through to reach their schools on the other side, and how much of time and effort and frustration we have saved them all by getting education to their doorstep and somewhere so close by. I hope this humble beginning we have made will go a long way, and the entire culture in this area is going to change in the course of time. It is the fond hopes with which we have started this. It is an aspiration that many of us have to do something which is going to outlive them in terms of impact on their people, their communities, and this is one such effort. My connection with this part of the city is through my mother. My mother actually spent her childhood not too far away from where we are now in Darushafa. And she often used to tell us how she used to go to a school called City Model High School, City Model School, and there are so many anecdotes associated with that. I'm not too sure how many of you know where the school is, but it used to be quite a prominent school in its heyday. And then there used to be another school, which used to be the Darushafa High School. And there are so many people I know who had been to these schools and who have done extremely well in their life, who have gone all over the world, who have, the diaspora from this community is amazing. They have spread all over the world and they have been very, very successful. And there is no reason why more such students in their lives can repeat that success. Now coming to the school, I sincerely believe that the children here are very lucky to have a principal like Minhaj. I would have been too happy myself. Minhaj was one of the main reasons why this project took off and why I got involved in a big way, and I see a very bright future for the children coming out from this school as the school ages, and eventually I think the culture here is going to change. There should be an emphasis on being well-mannered and on discipline. That is something which is missing in our culture these days, because there are so many distractions which we face that lives are changed or lost because of so many distractions that we go through. So I hope there is going to be enough emphasis on manners and discipline, and by the time the student is going to be ready to pass out from the school, he should be clear in his mind what he wants to do in his life, right? There is no point in just going to school for the sake of going and not knowing what he wants to do or she wants to do. So adequate counseling should be provided, and the students should be observed for all the skills and talents that they have and should be rightly advised. Because there is so much of difference, like how a very good footballer, if he gets into cricket or basketball, he would be a lost talent. Similarly, you would lose scientists and doctors just because they in the pressure of the moment or for something else. So guidance should be at the core of the school. So I again sincerely thank everybody who is involved in this, and I hope in the time to come, this school not only increases in size but is also followed by a junior college and a graduate college in this area. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Inshallah will grow from a school to a college, a junior college and a degree college, inshallah. Now I request Mr. Sayyid Bakar, who is the chairman of the Committee of Board Members of Focus High School and also the chairman of Olive Hospital, to please come and share his thoughts with us.
Assalamu alaikum to one and all. Really, it's my pleasure to be on this special day. I can say only one thing, a dream which has come true today. The dream which we have seen 3-4 years back, or maybe 2 years back. So we are today here inaugurating this school. I think Hamad, we have really done a very wonderful job in a very important time with the support of the architect as well as Mr. Asif and Mr. Ali Hashim. We have completed this building in a recorded time, and also the Minhaj and his team. You people have done a really wonderful job, and I am sure that you are going to do much better what already you have done. The reason of opening of school, as Ahmed has said very correctly, is from this locality, most of the people who have achieved something in their life, they are from this locality. And one among them is me. All my childhood we have spent all around, by walking, by cycling, by fighting, by playing cricket, by doing so many good and bad. But in the end of the day, we have achieved something, and that was the hard work. Education, of course, plays a very, very vital role. So I am sure all the students who are here, they are very lucky enough, and I also want to congratulate their parents. They were lucky enough to select this school. In everybody's life, you get some opportunity. And I am sure this opportunity, the parents who have given their child to our school, they are really lucky enough. I am sure a period of time, we will prove them that the school what they have selected is one of the best from this locality. As everybody aware, school is second home for the child. So all the staff of our focus, especially Minaj and his team, they have to be really on tour and they have to really give the best of the best. And they have to prove that they are really extraordinary compared to others. And I am sure your staff, everybody will take it and they will give fully support to you mentally and emotionally. Thank you and God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. I would like to add a few words to Mr. Sayyid Bakar Hassan's motivational words as he said, like, this school is a dream come true, that hold fast your dreams within your heart, keep one secret spots where dreams may go thrive and grow. Now, with this, we present before you a song by the students of our school.
request Mr. Syed Muhammad Arif to please, who is the member of our advisory committee, and also Jonas Shania and Parmesh Yopati, and the badminton coach, to please share inspirational thoughts with us.
Assalamu alaikum. I want to congratulate the staff, the members, and especially Mr. Minhaj, that the dream what he had once is coming true today. It's a beginning of a very, very important phase, as everybody has put it, in the lives of the children, especially from the old city area. As Mr. Minhaj was telling, that asking questions makes a very, very important aspect, and sometimes the questions are good, definitely leads to the destiny also. So I'm going to ask the children of the school, what is the name of your school? Come on. I'm so very happy. Especially the chairman was very enthusiastic about hearing that. I'm very happy about that. So what is that you want to focus about? The question is focus. It's a beautiful name in itself. What is that you want to focus? I tell you, without focusing in anything in life, you'll not be able to achieve it. Focusing in anything, the smallest thing what you're doing, if you're doing without focus, then I'm sure that that thing will be, it might be going astray, it might be hayward, it might be destroyed, it can be anything except reaching the goal. So reaching the goal means the focus is very, very important. So, focusing in what? On your education, on your life, on a particular aspect of the thing what you have taken at the goal, what you have got at home, or at hand, or what is that you want to focus about? I think you have to focus in each and everything, every aspect of your life. If it is going without focusing, you will not be able to do justice. In that way, I think the school name itself is giving a very big meaning to your life itself. So you start focusing on the smallest thing, you will find that you will achieve it. A very small example, because I belong to the sports department, and all my life I have been coaching. A small example I will give you, which will see, even in the sports, without focusing, a person cannot reach the highest pinnacles in life, especially in the sports field also. So it happened that in 1983 we had one tournament at Calcutta, Asian Badminton Confederation. One of our players was shot dead. Syed Modi, he was playing. He was committing some fault, and I was standing hardly about 20 to 15 feet away from the court, and I'm taking his name and shouting. Name is something which even if you are sleeping, somebody calls your name, you may not be getting up with a bomb, but in case somebody calls your name, you are getting up. I'm taking his name, instructing him something, but you can imagine from his answer what happened. He won the first game, second game he lost. 5 minutes break was there. I ran behind him and I told him, I'm shouting, you don't listen to what I'm saying. Believe me, with a blank look, Modi said, did you say something, sir? I don't know. I didn't listen to that. I'm telling you, 15 feet from the court, and that is a 12,000 capacity Netaji Stadium, Calcutta. And our Indian team was sitting at the corner of the court, right at the top. They could listen to me. 15 feet, I was standing and shouting at the peak of my voice, and this guy says, I don't know if you have told me anything. It clearly shows his complete concentration, his complete life, his complete focusing is only in that boundary. He doesn't know anything exists beyond that. And I think that is what is required. If you want to achieve anything in life, you start focusing. You want to sit for the studies, you start focusing. You'll see that you don't have to look at the books again. If you are taking anything at hand, you start focusing and you'll see that you will achieve it. I know there are many more speakers as a minute of the time has been taken. Thanks for calling me and giving me a chance to speak. And with this, I want to finish, and I wish the children will also focus, the teachers will also focus, the staff will also focus, and everything will be coming up. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. With Mr. Sayyid Arif's words, I would like to add a few words of mine over here. Like when we started our school on 15th of May, all the staff members reported, and we were having these team building activities and ice breaking activities like that with the staff members.
to get the staff members very well acquainted to the school environment. And so Mr. Minhaj gave us an activity. He asked, can anybody interpret about the logo? Why have we kept this logo? Can you tell us anything about it? So each staff member added their points, what they meant, or what they could see the logo and put in what they feel about that logo. So my interpretation was that if we see the logo very carefully, there are 4 different colors and there's a white patch in the center of all those 4 colors. Can you see it? And so what I interpreted was the white patch in the center of all the 4 different colors is the child, on which we as the staff members who are coming from different backgrounds like the red, blue, yellow and green, different backgrounds and from different communities, we are the different colors who are going to come and make an impact on that white patch, which is very plain, to make it very colorful, very bright and very presentable. So my interpretation was that of our logo, and many of the staff members also added to it and we had different interpretations. So Focus High School, I think the main focus of us as the children whom we are teaching here. Thank you very much. Now I request Mr. Aga Mujahid Hussain, who is the correspondent of our school and also the managing director of Olive Hospital, to please come and share his thoughts with us.
Good evening, all of you. A group of idealistic people thinking and dreaming at the social level can create something which we were used to seeing in a 2-dimensional form into a 3-dimensional existence, and the effort and the goodwill which was put into it is being reflected as a seed today. It is the seed which we have planted. Idealism has created the seed. Fighting each other has created the seed. Holding hands has created the seed. We need to remember as individuals we are nothing. We are nothing as individuals, but when we join hands, we become all. And those hands joined with a good intention convert first things into a single dimension. The dream is converted from a single dimension to a double dimension, from there to a triple dimension, from a second dimension to the third dimension. I need to again thank the whole board which was behind the project, and more so Ahmad, who has been magnanimous. Aristotle in his ethics writes magnanimity is not possible for all. Magnanimity is not possible for all. It requires that much of material wealth to become magnanimous. But out of people who do have material wealth, there are very few who become magnanimous. Ahmed has taken that step and we all need to thank him for that. Second, the question of Minhaj being the point of focus school. He has been an inspiration for all of us who are much older than him. By the dedication with which he came from United States about 7-8 years ago, flung himself into the activity of education, taking the most humblest of jobs, trying to push and push without any encouragement of any kind, just for the sake of that love and affection which he had to his cause and purpose. Strange to find someone so dedicated without having the will to be appreciated. He has inspired all of us, and we are thankful to him and his parents for creating and upbringing a child in that environment where individual success is not measured in what you get but in what you do. Education is making a child realize with the hindsight which a teacher has, and which a teacher, because of the hindsight he or she has developed, and having a foresight to give the child a picture of what he will not be able to imagine without the hindsight of the teacher. The hindsight of the teacher, the past of the teacher, the education process of the teacher, all are the hindsight of the teacher. The student is a fresh page. If that hindsight creates a foresight for the teacher, and that foresight is given to a child who doesn't have a hindsight, slowly that child starts working at a different level altogether. Because now the child is being empowered with the force of experience. And books don't become a path, books become signposts. It is very easy to make the book the path the book is to achieve, and very difficult to make the book a signpost. The book should guide. The book should not restrict. Modern education to a large extent, with its emphasis on success in controlled environments, has brought knowing the book, learning from the book as the only experience which a child should get to score at the highest level. The books should be a signpost which guide the child on the path which is much more complicated than the book written in front of him. We need to make students who know how to use books, and that will be only possible if the teacher has learned it herself or himself. A teacher who doesn't work with himself or herself doesn't teach. A teacher who doesn't work with himself or herself doesn't teach. Teaching is an inspirational activity, and inspiration needs to be rejuvenated every day, every single minute, every single second. And that is the process. If you are into that process, you keep rejuvenating and you keep giving that life to children. Otherwise, education becomes an activity of the dead with the dead. And we convert the child from a living entity to a dead rotting machine. The exuberance with which the child starts learning the language at home, at the age of 1, 2 and 3 years, the natural potential, without being schooled and taught, the child starts picking up things which should actually mean nothing to him or her. But it starts picking up with the speed that words and then sentences and then more complicated sentences which you are astounded to listen from a child who was not speaking a word about 6 months ago. Adding words to words, making sentences, and maybe having more than one language to speak with the servants or otherwise, or another locate, the child starts speaking 2 or 3 languages. And with ease and comfort, that child at the age of 3 comes to a school. Can we retain that zest of learning naturally in the child at school, or will we be inhibiting it and stopping it and restricting it? The schools can do both. The schools can do both. They can restrict, they can enhance. We are actually replicating the process of God at school. The natural learning which the child has developed through the process of nature needs to be nurtured in that same natural manner, provided the teachers are capable of understanding that nature with greater depth, and therefore teaching becomes a perennial activity of the mind. The school is walls, chairs, boards, books. The only living things which are there is a teacher with the hindsight and a child without any hindsight and no foresight at all. Goes the child.
A challenge towards the teachers. In fact, inshallah, we will prove ourselves to be the best teachers, and we will also work to bring out the best in our children. As he also said that books are not only the means of teaching, and he said that success, I would like to quote that success is the maximum utilization of the ability you have. And now I will call upon Mr. Sajid Naqvi to propose the vote of thanks, and I also request our distinguished guests to please be seated in their places. The refreshments will be served to you.
On behalf of the principal staff and students of Focus High School, I thank sincerely all the dignitaries present here, the board members, all the invitees, other dignitaries, especially the children, for giving their precious time and making this evening a success. I also take this opportunity to thank the persons involved in making this ceremony, Mrs. Wasima and Mrs. Munazza, who has done a very good job in organizing this function. I thank one and all, and all those who supported, all the staff members, and all those who make this evening a success. Thank you very much.
Sorry, I'm taking your time again. Since everybody was interpreting the logo, I just thought about it. So to my mind, I would say we have something very precious and we should protect it with everything that we have. All the best to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The painting to Mr. Iftihar Hussain. Will be presenting the painting to Mrs. Sultana Nazirul Hassan. Amina Mohammed will be presenting the painting to Mr. Sayyid Muhammad Arif. With this, we now come to the end of today's program. Thank you all very much for being present here and making this a very memorable and cherishable moment for us to cherish for months and years to come. Hope for the same support and cooperation from you all. I would request all of you to please stand up for the national anthem, but please after the national anthem, please be seated in your places as we are going to serve the refreshments.